What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman, aka Allfires. Now, long before Marvel Studios was as far along as they are with the X-Men reboot, they now have a script in place, a director in place, casting may be imminent for the new team, and production might start as early as next year. But before the ink was even dry on the deal between Fox and Disney and Marvel to reacquire all the rights to the Marvel characters, there was speculation that the next saga would indeed be the Mutant Saga, all focused on mutants, and alongside that, rumors as to which classic X-Men story Marvel Studios may be looking to adapt first, knowing safely it won't be Dark Phoenix, and of course by extension, who's going to be the first big bad in that upcoming saga. Well, if today's report is true and corroborating things we've heard over the last 5 years, apparently they're closing in on who they want to be their big bads, and now we can, by deduction, guess what the very first saga will be for the X-Men story when they're introduced. And for a team that's been promised to look pretty different than what we're used to on the silver screen, it seems like we're headed right back to redeem one story that certainly wasn't done any justice the first time around at Fox. We're breaking it all down, this latest update from trusted industry insider Daniel Richtman, what it says about the upcoming X-Men saga and the big bad, and which classic story it looks like they're going to adapt. But first, if you could grab the subscribe button. We do daily Marvel content at the channel. That's all we do. Thanks to everyone who's been subbing lately. We are growing again at an insane pace. Thank you guys. If you haven't already, if you enjoy the content, you've been rocking with us for a while, or you just found the channel, hit that sub button, leave a comment down below. It's the best way to support us. Plus, it'll enter you for the giveaways if you want. Stick around at the end of the video. We get into all the giveaway stuff again there. Okay, so as I mentioned moments ago in the prologue, this is coming from trusted industry insider Daniel Richtman. You guys can follow him over on his Twitter handle at RPK News. This came via his Patreon. In a major blast about Marvel and Star Wars, he had to say this, quote, "I hear once more, Marvel's main plans for the next saga are for Mr. Sinister and Apocalypse." He also added that there is no casting yet, but there are some names they have in mind. Now, there are a lot of things I want to point out here because I have been talking about this for the better part of 5 years at the channel, again, since the Fox rights were sold back to Marvel. I will say that pretty much, and the entire time, most industry insiders have pointed to Mr. Sinister and Apocalypse. In fact, if you go back through my channel and just keyword Mr. Sinister or X-Men villain revealed, you will see that there are a lot of thumbnails of Mr. Sinister and Apocalypse. So usually in the Marvel scoop game, and as I've always said, when things seem to reoccur over and over again in this manner, that's when they end up becoming true. And it's just interesting to me that there hasn't been much deviation. We haven't really heard about any other X-Men villains, and yes, I will admit that these are some obvious picks, especially with what went down recently in X-Men 97 and the fact that we don't have a Mr. Sinister, and Apocalypse was an absolute atrocity the last they tried it. Poor Oscar Isaac, not even he could save that role. In the meantime, and since we brought up X-Men 97, where we last left off at the beginning of the first season, seemed like they were about to steer into an Apocalypse story, but if you know anything about what happened between them and Bodemeo, who had written most of Season 2, he claimed early on that they had gotten in, uprooted the story, changed a lot of things, and actually went in a totally different direction. I'm not going to wade into any of the details. We've done a lot of reporting on that here at the channel, but what I will say is that if that's true, it might have been in anticipation of knowing that they're going to do the Apocalypse saga, Age of Apocalypse, during the live action Mutant Saga, and don't want to have that also running in the animated series. They want to do something else. Perfectly makes sense, and I don't think the appearance of Mr. Sinister in the animated series precludes him from live action as well. What I will say, though, is that when Marvel Studios gave their last update during that Burbank HQ interview, Kevin Feige said there's a new plan in place. They already have it mapped out, and it's going to take them from December of 2027, after Avengers Secret Wars, all the way through 2032. A 4+ year plan that they've now set in place. So whatever they've decided, it is possible now it's being disseminated through the sort of rumor mill in the way that I've said. When things stick around for a while, they seem to become true. And what's even more interesting than that is that we've heard some casting rumors along the way. Now, there have been a few names dropped for Mr. Sinister over the years, and there's some concept art on the internet to replicate this. I think we've used Henry Cavill as an example here, and considering he may have been a nihilist in the Nova series, I don't think ruling out Henry Cavill in a villain role for Marvel is something you can do. We might end up seeing that down the road, although it might not be a nihilist. It may not be Mr. Sinister either. There have been other names like John Hamm thrown around for that character. All of that, though, more fan casting and concept art than actual any truth to it. But the one that has stuck around, that has come from multiple sources and over the years, is maybe something that we see as a fan casting and it just seems so obvious, but The Rock as Apocalypse. Of course, The casting itself works and works perfectly. I just don't know if I see it. Lately, The Rock has been talking about doing more serious acting on the back of the film that he just did and sort of steering into better scripts. I don't know if he'd want to immediately jump back into the superhero thing only because of the disaster that went down at DC and Shazam. Although, what I will say is that money is money. Movies are movies. The attendance would be high if he's an X-Men villain just on the fact that it's the Marvel Studios X-Men. I don't know, maybe he'd want to be a part of it. Maybe the script will be enticing enough. Other than that, other names thrown around, we haven't heard anything. But thank God it won't be Oscar Isaac again, because in my opinion, that is one of the worst X-Men villain portrayals of all of them. And let's face it, guys, there were some really bad ones, but none of them quite take the cake like Oscar Isaac's Apocalypse, who just looked like, well, worse than the Apocalypse cosplays that we've seen at some of the local Comic-Cons. Now, there is one small detail, only because I stopped reading comics as much as I was reading them back in the 90s when the original Age of Apocalypse storyline went down in 1995. At the time, if you remember, it replaced the main X-Men timeline in the 616. It sort of had ripple effects throughout all of Marvel's continuity when it was restored. That was later retconned to have happened on an alternate Earth, Earth 295. However, without breaking it all down, but the nature of that storyline, they may use the reset of the singular timelines by Avengers Secret Wars as a way of explaining how we get set on the path to Age of Apocalypse in the first place. It may begin to feel like one villain waiting one after another, Doom in the wings waiting for Kane to stumble so he could take his role. Then in the fallout of Avengers Secret Wars, when the timelines are remade and we have one singular timeline in the 616, that may give Apocalypse his opportunity and so on. But I'm totally okay with it. You can't expect there to be absolutely zero repercussions of any of these sagas as we go along. They're technically reshaping the universe as we know it, and it seems like every time, this time maybe even more so than Avengers Endgame. But you guys let me know all your thoughts down below. Firstly, are you cool with Mr. Sinister and Apocalypse being the two big bads for the next 5 years for the X-Men? And if so, who do you want to see in those roles? Do you like The Rock as Apocalypse? If not, who else? I am all ears as always. Quickly, let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. All right. We are still giving away PlayStation 5s at the channel. The next one will be for Wonder Man. We just gave one away for the Zombie series. We'll also do some giveaways throughout the holiday season. If you want to be entered to win or for any of the future giveaways, all you got to do, hit the sub button, then leave a comment down below. And because it's truly random, the more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. All winners will be announced at the end of videos, the same way we're doing here, live with my voice and the winning comments shown on screen. So please be safe and vigilant on YouTube. And if you should get any spam comments, just report them directly to YouTube. Best way to keep up with the content has always been to hit the notification bell with all notifications turned on. And as always, if you like today's video, I'd appreciate it if you hit the like button. My name's Michael Roman. Find me on Instagram and Twitter at IamFires. Find me on all other platforms under the name AllFires. And while I would sincerely appreciate you checking my music out, thanks for checking this channel out. Stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.